Assalamu alaikum. Bismillah. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri. Rabbi zidni ilma. In the name of Allah, my Lord, open up for me my chest and ease my task for me. My Lord, increase me in knowledge. Brothers and sisters, today's topic I decided to call it the Great Diversion, or you can even say the Great Deception. And I've called it Shirk 2.0 because I'm going to be revisiting the topic of Shirk because I believe this is so important, brothers and sisters. Without further ado, we'll get started. Now, the word shirk, brothers and sisters, my apologies, I don't know why that came up. The word shirk, brothers and sisters, comes from the root shin, ra, kaf, and it typically has the following meanings. To be a companion, be sharer or partner, shirkun, the word shirkun, share, participation, polytheism, idolatry, making associate or partner with Allah. The word sharik, and also the plural of a shuraka, which means associate, partner, sharer. Think about that, brothers and sisters. Associate, partner, sharer. Now, in my last video, which I made called Shirk, and I urge you to please watch that video if you haven't already, I concluded the following, that we should never, brothers and sisters, do not call, and the word there is tada'u, which comes from that dua word. Do not call upon, invoke, supplicate to other than Allah. The words there are min dunillahi or min dunihi, other than Him, or with, alongside, together with Allah, anyone or anything. Anyone, ahada, or anything, any living or dead entity, brothers and sisters. I urge you to please watch that video for more information if you haven't done so already. Now, I'd like to continue on with that topic of shirk, and I want to quote some more verses for you, God willing, okay? Chapter 2, verse 22, it reads, He who made for you the earth a bed, and the sky the ceiling, and sent down from the sky rain, and brought forth thereby fruits as provisions for you. So do not, taja'alu, do not, to Allah, attribute to Allah equals. Look at that word there, andadan. Pay attention to that, okay? While you know, okay? Here's another verse. Chapter 2, verse 165. And among the people of those who take other than Allah, min dunillahi, other than Allah, as equals. Again, the word andadan is there. They love them as they should love Allah. But those who believe are stronger in love for Allah, and if only they have wronged, those who are wronged would consider when they see the punishment, that all power belongs to Allah and that Allah is severe in punishment. Okay, that word andadan, pay attention to that. Chapter 14, verse 30, it reads, and they have attributed waja'alu, similar to this taja'alu word here, okay, waja'alu to Allah equals andadan, to mislead from His way, sabilihi, from Allah's way. Say, enjoy yourselves, for indeed your destination is the fire. Okay, moving on. Here's another verse, chapter 16, verse 74. It reads, look at this, brothers and sisters. So do not assert similarities or likeness to Allah. Indeed, Allah knows and you do not. And that word is interesting. Al-amthal, which comes from that mim, the, lam word, which you also get the word mithlahu from it. For example, the Quran says, Laysa ki mithlihi shay. There is not any likeness to Him in anything. Okay? Mithlihi, that, pay attention to that word. So you can see the words here, andadan, equal, and it says don't even put a similarity or a likeness to Allah. Okay? Moving on. Have a look at this verse, chapter 3, verse 64. It reads, Say, the messengers told to say, O people of the scripture, come to a word that is equitable between us and you, that we do not worship or serve except Allah, and not associate. Look, nushriku comes from that shirk word, which means associate, partnership, or share. Okay, you do not associate anything, shay'an. Pay attention to that word, shay'an, with Him, and take one another as lords instead of Allah. But if they turn away, then say, bear witness that we are Muslims. Okay, the verses continue. Chapter 4, verse 36, it reads, worship or serve your Lord Allah and associate, tushriku, that shirk word, nothing, shay'an with Him. and to parents do good, and to relatives, orphans, the needy, the near neighbor, the neighbor further away, the companion at your side, the traveler, and those whom your right hands possess. Indeed, Allah does not like those who are self-deluding and boastful. Okay, here's another verse, chapter 18, verse 110. Say, I am only a man like you. The messenger is told to say this, to whom it has been revealed or inspired to me, that your God is one God. So whoever would hope for the meeting with his Lord, let him do righteous work and not associate, yushrik, again that shirk word, in the worship or in the serving of his Lord, anyone, ahada. Look, you see the word Shaytaan and you see the word ahada. This is important, brothers and sisters. Here's another verse, chapter 16, verse 74. And mentioned when we designated for Abraham the site of the house, do not associate tushrik, okay, anything, Shaytaan, with me. The word is be. Allah said, do not associate with me anything. And purify my house for those who perform tawaf, and those who stand, and those who bow and prostrate. Okay? Now here it says, do not associate anything or anyone, brothers and sisters. Okay? Okay, there's another verse there which says something very similar. Unfortunately, it doesn't appear there. My apologies, brothers and sisters. But so far from just these handful of verses, what can we conclude? Look, think about this, brothers and sisters. So far, we've learned a valuable lesson here. The lesson is, do not attribute or assert an equal, andadan, or even a similarity or a likeness. Remember that word amthal or mithlihi to Allah. Think about that, brothers and sisters. Also, we can conclude, do not make associate, partner, sharer, that yushrik word, right? Shirk, associate, partner, sharer with Allah, anything, Shaytaan, or anyone, anything or anyone, neither a living or a dead entity, brothers and sisters. Okay? I hope you're with me so far. Let's move on. Now, I have a question. As a matter of fact, this is one of those questions which I believe every single Muslim needs to ask themselves this question, and they need to find the answer for it. Okay? The question is the following. Is there one or is there two sources of authority? Pay attention to that word, authority, in the deen of Allah. Now, why am I even asking this question, brothers and sisters? Because this is a source of confusion. Now, you'll find that so many Muslims, they claim that there's not only one source, but there are two sources of authority in the deen of Allah. Now, think about this word authority here. Think about this, brothers and sisters. Now, if you look up the word authority in any online dictionary, it reads the following. The power or right to give orders, make decisions, and enforce obedience. Let me say that again. The power or right to give orders, make decisions, and enforce obedience. Now, just out of curiosity, I decided to look for synonyms, likeness of that word authority. This is what I found. Power, control, dominion, sovereignty, reign, command, supremacy, jurisdiction, predominance, eminence, imperium. Brothers and sisters, think about these terms here, which are like synonymous with the word authority. Here's a question I have. In the Quran, do you find the authority of Allah in it? I mean, this is really, it's a silly question to even ask this. Of course you do. In the Quran, you find the authority of Allah all over the Quran. The Quran talks about the power of Allah. It talks about the control of Allah. It talks about the orders which Allah gives. It talks about the decisions of Allah. It talks about obedience to Allah. It talks about His sovereignty. It talks about His command. It talks about eminence. It talks about so many things relating to Allah Azza wa Jal. But the question is, brothers and sisters, do we find, other than Allah, do we find another authority that is either equal, remember that word andadan, or even like, mithlihi, like Allah's authority? Think about that, brothers and sisters. Now, let's move on. Now, I gave this some thought, and I concluded, brothers and sisters, that the closest word in Arabic to that of the word authority is the word hukum. Now, you do find another word called Sultan. You also find Sultan in the Quran. For example, Allah Azza wa Jalla says He sent down to Musa Sultanun Mubin, a clear authority. Okay? But I believe the word authority is more sort of close to matching to hukum, and I'll tell you why. The word hukum in Arabic, okay, it comes from the Arabic root ha, kaf, mim, and I spoke about this in my previous videos as well. Now, the words that are extracted from this root, some of the meanings are to restrain from, exercise authority, look at that, command, give judgment, judge, be wise, to restrain, prevent, withhold a person from acting in an evil or a corrupt manner, to judge, give judgment, pass sentence, decide judicially, look at that, exercise judicial authority, jurisdiction, rule, dominion, government, order, ordain, decree a thing, etc. Brothers and sisters, let's go back for a moment. From that root, those definitions, I got that from that root. Doesn't it match this as well? To give orders, make decisions, enforce obedience, power, control, dominion, authority. For example, the Quran, doesn't it make mention of these things about Allah? Doesn't the Quran, for example, say, تبارك الذي بيده الملك وهو على كل شيء قدير. Blessed is he whose in his hand is the dominion or the sovereignty. وهو على كل شيء قدير. And to him he has power over all things. Doesn't the Quran also say له الحكم? To him is the hukum, وإليه ترجعون, and to him is the return. Doesn't the Quran talk about the amrullah, the command or the order of Allah? There are dozens of verses that talk about the authority or the hukum of Allah, brothers and sisters. But that's the question. Does Allah have, can there be another entity that has equal or even similar authority to Allah, brothers and sisters? Now, have a look at this. This is from a typical Ahlul Sunnah Sunni website. Have a think about this, what they say. I quote, there are basically two sources of authority in Islam. Think about that. The first is the speech of God embodied in the Quran. The second source of authority is the authority of the Sunnah. Notice they say source here. What does source mean, brothers and sisters? Doesn't source mean origin, where it originated from? You know, it came into being, it came into existence. Where it originated from, right? There are two sources where Islam originated from Allah, the Quran, and from the Sunnah. Think about this, brothers and sisters. The words and the deeds of Prophet Muhammad. It continues, I quote, Shia Muslims, another branch of Islam, have a third authority, brothers and sisters. There's a third, not two, there's three. For religion besides the above two authorities recognized by all Muslims. The teachings and writings of a number of early charismatic leaders called Imams descended from the Prophet's son-in-law, Ali, are an additional source for Shia, since they believe these descendants are infallible and consider their words and explanations nearly as authoritative. Look at that. Nearly as authoritative as the Quran and Sunnah. Do you see how they've taken the Sunnah and they've made it equal with the Quran? But the fact of the matter is this, brothers and sisters, they've raised the Sunnah above the Quran itself. If you don't believe me, brothers and sisters, watch my video called Tradition versus Revelation, and I quote you what many scholars have said. You'll be shocked. Look at that, brothers and sisters. Now, here's the source for that website. I'm happy to share those resources. Now, this is from another website. Okay, there's a source there. I quote, among the Sunnis, again, there are two other sources of authority. Look at that. There's Quran, there's Sunnah, and there's two others. So there's four. Subhanallah. Look at that. The ijma, the consensus of the scholars, and qiyas, which usually translate to analytical reasoning. Look at this. Where the Quran does not contain the required answer, let's pause for a moment. They claim the Quran doesn't have the answers. Brothers and sisters, my last video, the detailed Quran, I explained how, and the Quran explains, not me, not my words, the Quran tells you that it has the clarifications, the explanations, and the knowledge of all things. But he says, where the Quran doesn't contain the answer. Look at that. The ulama will look to the hadith. And if the hadith are also silent on some problem, they resort to qiyas and they try to develop a consensus, a ijma. Thus, among the Sunnis, these are the four recognized sources of authority, brothers and sisters. The Quran, the Sunnah, the ijma, and qiyas. Look at that, brothers and sisters. What does the Quran say about authority? The hukm. What does it say, brothers and sisters? Let's take a look. Now, in order to try to prove their points, the Ahl Sunnah, they say, brother, but doesn't the Quran say this? Chapter 24, verse 51, doesn't it say this? The only statement of the believers when they are called to Allah and His Messenger to judge between them. Du'u ilallahi wa rasulihi liyahkuma. That word liyahkuma comes with that hukum word, right? To judge between them. But their response is, they say, we hear and we obey. Those are the successful. They say, doesn't the Quran say this? Say, there are two sources of judgments, they say. There are two sources of hukum, they say. Look at that, brothers and sisters. Here's another verse which I love to quote. Chapter 9, verse 29. Fight those who do not believe in Allah or in the last day, and those who do not consider unlawful or haram what Allah and His Messenger have made haram. Look at that. يُحَرِّمُونَ مَا حَرَّمَ اللَّهُ وَرَسُولَهُ. Think about that. What Allah and His Messenger have made haram. Say, brother, these are two sources of legislation. Think, brothers. They give you another verse which they love to abuse. Chapter 33, verse 36. It reads, it is not for a believer, man or woman, when Allah and His Messenger have decreed a matter, قَضَى اللَّهُ وَرَسُولَهُ أَمْرًا, that they should have any option in their decision. And whoever disobeys Allah and His Messenger, he is straight into plain error. You see, brother, see what the Quran says? And doesn't the Quran also say, obey Allah and obey the Messenger? See, this is two sources, they say. Subhanallah, brothers and sisters, I'm going to show you the great diversion which Shaytaan has made us fall into. Subhanallah. Is this really referring to two sources, brothers and sisters? Really? Have a look at this verse, brothers and sisters. Chapter 19, verse 93. There is none in the heavens and the earth, but they come to the most merciful, Ar-Rahman, as a servant, Abada. Every single atom, every single organism within the heavens and the earth comes to Allah as a servant. Notice the verses, it says Allah and His Messenger. It's always Rasul, always Allah His Messenger, Allah His Messenger, Allah His Messenger. You find this throughout the Quran. It will never say Allah and His Prophet or Allah and Muhammad alayhi salam. Always Messenger. Hang on, wasn't the Messenger also an abd of Allah? Think about this. Then how can a servant of Allah have equal authority to Allah, or even likeness of Allah's authority? How's that possible? That means he must be more than a servant when you think about it. Brothers and sisters, let's continue. Have a think about this. The verses always describe Rasul. It's always messenger, brothers and sisters. This is significant. In fact, I made a video called Messenger's Duty. For more information, please refer to that video, okay? Let's just go through some of those verses just to get our mind thinking. Chapter 4, verse 64. And we did not send any messenger except to be obeyed by the permission of Allah. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَا مِنْ رَسُولٍ إِلَّا لِيُطَاعَ بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ. We have not sent any messenger except to be obeyed. So this obedience to the messenger wasn't just unique to Prophet Muhammad alayhi salam. All the messengers, it was equal. Okay, let's go to the next verse. Chapter 4, verse 80. He who obeys the messenger has obeyed Allah. This is the golden formula, brothers and sisters. May yuti rasula faqad ata Allah. But those who turn away, we have not sent you over them as a guardian, as a hafidha. Now, please watch my video called Messenger's Duty for more information about this. Okay, I'll go into a lot more detail, right? This is the formula. At the time of Rasulullah alayhi salam, how did they obey Allah? Did Allah send down the revelation to them directly? No, He sent it down to the messenger. So by obeying the messenger, they've obeyed Allah, have they not? Think about that. Here's another verse to get us thinking. Chapter 5, verse 67. O messenger, announce or convey that which has been revealed or sent down to you from your Lord. Ya ayyuhar rasul, balligh ma unzila ilayka min rabbika. And if you do not, then you have not conveyed his message. Risalatahu, his message, Allah's message. So the messenger is conveying, is announcing the risala of Allah. And Allah will protect you from the people. Indeed, Allah does not guide the disbelieving people. Let's continue, brothers and sisters. Have a look at these verses. Chapter 5, verse 99. Not upon the messenger is except the notification. Ma ala rasuli illa al-balag. There's another similar verses. There's actually many verses of this. وَمَا عَلَى الرَّسُولِ إِلَّا الْبَلَاغُ الْمُبِينُ. Not upon the messenger is except to convey, to deliver the message. Right? And Allah knows whatever you reveal and whatever you conceal. Let's continue. Chapter 16, verse 35. And those that associate others with Allah will say, if Allah had willed, we would have not served anything other than Him, neither we nor our fathers, nor would we have forbidden anything through other than Him. Thus did those before them. Look at this. This is a question here. So is there upon the messengers, see, plural, rusuli, upon the messengers, anything except to deliver the message clearly? فَهَلْ عَلَى الرُّسُلِ إِلَّا الْبَلَاغُ الْمُبِينُ. Now, what messenger Muhammad ﷺ did, the messengers before him did. There was no difference. Here's another verse. Chapter 46, verse 9. The messenger Muhammad ﷺ is told to say, قُلْ, I am not something original among the messengers. Look at that. مَا كُنْتُ بِدَعًا مِنَ الرُّسُلِ. I'm no bid'ah among the messengers. Look, the prophet is, the messenger said, there's nothing unique. I'm nothing new amongst the messengers. Nor do I know what was done with me or with you. I only follow that which is revealed to me. Look at that. And I am not but a clear warner. Here's another verse. I love this. Chapter 17, verse 77. That is the established way. Sunnah. Look at that. Sunnata man qad arsalna qablaka mir rasulina. Look at that. This was the sunnah we sent before you, qablaka, second person masculine singular pronoun, before you, Muhammad alayhi salam, of our messengers, mina rasulina, our messengers. Wala tajida lisunnatina tahwila, and you will not find any alteration or change in our sunnah. Whose sunnah is this talking about? This is the Sunnah of Allah. In fact, I made a video called Sunnah of who? Please refer to that video. Whose Sunnah does the Quran talk about? Subhanallah. Allah is saying here that the Sunnah of Allah with the messengers does not change. So Messenger Muhammad ﷺ is no different. He's nothing unique among the messengers. He did exactly what Allah commanded him. Have a look at these verses. Now these verses describing the Day of Judgment. Pay attention. Chapter 6, verse 130. O company of jinn and mankind. Allah is addressing everybody here, right? Did there not come to you messengers, rusulun, plural, from among you relating to you my verses, ayati, and warning you of a meeting of this day of yours? They will say, we will bear witness against ourselves, and the world of life has deluded them, and they will bear witness against themselves that they were disbelievers. The messengers of Allah brought what? The ayat of Allah. Here's another verse, chapter 14, verse 44. And warned the people of a day when the punishment will come to them, and those who did wrong will say, our Lord, delay us for a short term. Like, in other words, they're going to say, Ya Rabbi, bring us back. Let us come back to the world. We will answer your call. Look at this. Da'wataka. Da'wataka. You know the word da'wa, calling? Da'wataka. Your calling. And follow. Wanat tabi'i. Wanat, it comes from that taba'i word. To follow, to imitate, to walk behind the messengers. Ar-Rasul. Ar-Rusul. We will answer your call and follow the messengers. Hang on. How would they answer the call of Allah? Would Allah call above the heavens and everybody would hear Allah? No. Allah sends the messengers. By responding to the messengers, they respond to the call of Allah, brothers and sisters. Subhanallah. Look at this other verse here. Chapter 40, verse 50. They will say, did they not come to you your messengers? Rusulukum, your messengers? with the clear proofs, bil bayinat. So the messengers came with the what? The ayat of Allah. They came with the calling of Allah. They came with the bayinat of Allah. Did the messengers come with something called the authority of the Sunnah, brothers and sisters? Subhanallah. Look at that. Now, to conclude, look at these magnificent verses. These verses seal the deal regarding messengership. Chapter 69, verse 40. Indeed, it, innahu, singular pronoun. This Quran, innahu, laqawlu, is a speech or the word, rasulin karim, of an honorable messenger. What is this talking about? It is, singular pronoun. This Quran that we're holding in our hands today, brothers and sisters, is literally the speech of the messenger. But they want to tell us the speech of the messenger is not in the Quran. It's in the hadith books, they tell us. Look at this. The verse continues at 41. And it is not, huwa, singular pronoun. The word, biqawli, the word, the speech of a poet. Little do you believe. Nor is it biqawli, the speech or the word of a soothsayer. Little do you remember. Look at this. Tanzilun, a revelation. Not revelations, two sources. Revelation from the Lord of the worlds. The verse continues. And if he, now here, obviously it's addressing Muhammad, isn't it, alayhi salam. If he had made up about us some sayings, aqawil is a plural of the word qawl. If he had fabricated and made up some sayings about us, we would have seized him. Look at this. We would have seized him. And if you keep reading up to verse 52, it talks about this extensively. And I'll talk about this in my other videos. Brothers and sisters, this verse here really seals the deal with messengership. The messenger Muhammad alayhi salam spoke nothing, not a single word as a messenger except the Quran. And I love to give this analogy. Imagine I'm speaking into this microphone that's connected to speakers. If I said good morning everybody, would you expect to hear the words good afternoon coming out from the speakers? No. Whatever Muhammad heard from Allah, he conveyed it like a microphone and a speaker. He did not add nor did he subtract anything from this. Otherwise, Allah would have seized them severely. Think about that, brothers and sisters. Subhanallah. Now, allow me to introduce you to my good friend, Hendiadys. I love this word. In case you're wondering, what is a Hendiadys? Why am I even bringing this up? The word Hendiadys, in a typical dictionary, it means the following. It is a figure solely for the presentation of a grammatical syntax in which two independent words, usually nouns, separated by the conjunction and, are employed to express what? A single idea. A single idea. Here's another definition. A figure of speech in which two words joined by a conjunction are used to convey a single idea. Not two ideas, not four ideas. One single idea. Instead of using a word and its modifier. Here's one more definition for you. It is a pattern of language. Now this is well known in language, whether in ancient languages, in Hebrew, in Greek, in Arabic, there's no exception to this rule. Where two nouns are paired together to express a single idea. Example here is law and order. You're expressing a single idea. Now brothers and sisters, does Allah Azza wa Jalla make use of Hendiadys anywhere in the Quran? I'm glad you asked. Let's have a look, brothers and sisters. Remember it says Allah and His Messenger? These are two separate hukums, two separate judgments, two separate decisions, two separate lawmaking. Remember they make this claim? Have a look at this verse here, chapter 2, verse 279. And if you do not, this is in the context of riba, with those people who are engaged in riba, and Allah's warning them to give it up. Then be informed of a war from Allah and His Messenger. Look at that. بِحَرْبٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ wa and His Messenger. Hang on. Is this like those obey verses, like the Ahl Sunnah referred to? Is this talking about two sources of war? Is this two wars that are going on? Or is this simply a Hendiadys, brothers and sisters? It's the expression of a single idea. One war, not two wars, one war. Here's another verse to get you thinking. Chapter 4, verse 100. And whoever emigrates for the cause of Allah will find on you of many locations and abundance. And whoever leaves his home, look, this is in a literal sense, leaves his home as an immigrant to Allah and His Messenger. Look at that. Muhajiran ilallahi wa rasulihi. And when death overtakes him, his ward has already become incumbent upon Allah, and Allah is ever forgiving and merciful. Hang on a minute, like those obey verses. Are we saying there's two sources of immigration here? How did the people leave their homes and immigrate to Allah in the first place? How did they do it? Is this two sources or one? Or is this a Hendiadys, brothers and sisters? The people left their homes, they went to the messenger, and in doing so, they've immigrated to Allah. How else can you possibly understand these verses? Here's another verse, brothers and sisters. Chapter 8, verse 1. I love this. They ask you, asking the Prophet, Yas'alunaka, about the spoils of war. Say, Qulil anfalu lillahi wa rasuli. The spoils are for Allah and the Messenger. Hang on a minute. Is this talking about two collections of spoils or one? Did they gather the spoils after they defeated the enemy, and did they split them into two halves? Brothers and sisters, or is it one collection of spoils, which the Messenger distributed among the believers? Hendiadys, brothers and sisters. Here's another example. Chapter 8, verse 27. O you who believe, do not betray Allah and the Messenger. La takhunu Allah wa rasula, or betray your trust. Why you know? Is this talking about two separate sources of betrayal or one? Those who betrayed the Messenger, haven't they betrayed Allah? Think about it, brothers and sisters. Here's another verse. There's more. Chapter 9, verse 1. I love this. A declaration of disassociation from Allah and His Messenger. Bara'atun. Bara'atun. A declaration, not two declarations, from Allah and His Messenger to those whom you might have treated among the polytheists. Now think about it. Was there two declarations made? Did the people hear this declaration directly from Allah and the Messenger made this separate declaration? Or is it one declaration through a Hendiadys? Same chapter, verse 3. And it is an announcement. وَأَذَانٌ. Look, bara'atun. Tun. أَذَانٌ مِنَ اللَّهِ فَرَسُولِهِ. To the people on the day of greater pilgrimage, brothers and sisters. Was this two announcements or was it one through a Hendiadys? How do we understand these verses? See, it always says Allah is Messenger, Allah is Messenger. It never says Allah is Prophet. Do you see the precise choice of words of Allah? The Messenger brought nothing to the table. He only delivered the ayat, the hukum of Allah to the people, nothing else. Hence it says Allah and His Messenger. But how do we understand these types of verses? Here's another verse, brothers and sisters. Chapter 9, verse 90. And those with excuses among the Bedouins came to be permitted. And this is talking about they wanted to be permitted to remain behind, not to go to war. And those who lied to Allah and His Messenger, Kadhabullaha wa rasulahu, sat at home. There will strike those who disbelieved among them a painful punishment. Hang on. How do you lie to Allah and His Messenger separately? How does that work? Or is this a Hendiadys? Those who lie to the Messenger have lied to Allah. How do you understand this? Do you see all these verses? It's simply expressing a single idea, which are connected by two independent words, Allah and His Messenger, brothers and sisters. Finally, chapter 33, verse 57. Indeed, those that abuse or harm Allah and His Messenger, يُؤْذُونَ اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ. Allah has cursed them in this world, and in the hereafter He's prepared for them a humiliating punishment. Is this talking about two separate sources of harm or one? Look at that, brothers and sisters. Then the question is, why should we treat those obey Allah and His Messenger verses and all those other verses any different to this? This is simply Allah's expressing His verses through a Hendiadys. It's the expression of a single idea, brothers and sisters. But they want to say, no, these are two separate sources. Do you see this diversion? Do you see how they've diverted us away? They say, obey Allah is the Quran, obey the Messenger is a separate obedience. To obey Allah, that's the Quran, they say, and the Messenger is in the Hadith books. Look at this diversion. The greatest deception that Shaytaan's ever pulled, brothers and sisters. Look at these verses, chapter 4, verse 61. And when it is said to them, come to what Allah has revealed or sent down, and to the Messenger, Ta'alaw, come, ila anzalallahu wa ila rasuli, You see the munafiqeen turning away from you, anka, second person masculine singular pronoun. It's addressing the messenger here, isn't it? Because it's mentioning the messenger. If you turned away from the messenger, have you not turned away from what Allah has revealed? Or is this two separate things? Think about that, brothers and sisters. Or is turning away from the messenger, is that turning away from his sunnah? Come on, brothers and sisters. Chapter 8, verse 20. O you who believe, obey Allah and His Messenger, ati Allah wa rasulahu, and do not turn from Him. Wala tawallaw anhu. Similar to this, anka, to you, second person masculine pronoun. Here again, second person masculine singular pronoun. Do not turn away from Him. What is this talking about? Obviously the messenger, is it not? Wa antum tasma'un, while you hear. And here, sneakily, they inject the words, His order. It doesn't say that in Arabic, brothers and sisters. While you hear what, brothers and sisters? What are they hearing? Poetry? Rap music? What is this talking about? Obviously, hearing the verses of Allah. Don't turn away from the messenger. Because if you turn away from the messenger, you've turned away from Allah. Or you've turned away from what Allah has revealed to him. Look at this verse. I love this. Look at this. Chapter 8, verse 24. Same chapter. O you who believe, respond to Allah and to His Messenger. Istajibu lillahi wa lirasuli. Look at this. When He calls you. Either when da'a, that comes with the da'a, da'wah word. Da'a kum. He calls you. Hang on a minute. Who was, at the time of the Messenger Muhammad alayhi salam, who was calling them to the Quran and to the oneness of Allah? Who was calling the people? Did Allah make a calling from above the heavens and everybody heard Him? Astaghfirullah. The messenger called, didn't He? He called them. So if they respond to the messenger, have they not responded to Allah, brothers and sisters? Or are we talking about two separate responses and two separate callings? Like the Ahlul Sunnah claim. Look at that, brothers and sisters. These verses simply expressing a Hendiadys, the expression of a single idea by two independent words, Allah and His Messenger. But this is not two separate sources, brothers and sisters. Now, let's go back to those verses which the Ahlul Sunnah love to abuse. Let's go back to that. The verse where it says, when they're called to Allah and His Messenger to judge between them. But hang on a minute, that word there, liyahkuma, hukum. Does Allah have an equal or even a similarity in His hukum? Is this possible? For example, does Allah make some judgments and just leaves it to the messenger to make His own judgments? Is this possible? Now have a look at these other verses, brothers and sisters. Chapter 5, verse 50. Now I haven't put the full verses there, brothers and sisters, because I don't want to drag my video for too long. Please go to my video called Who is the Judge and Lawmaker According to the Quran? And I quote the full verse there. Because of time, brothers and sisters, I only put the part which is relevant to this topic, okay? Chapter 5, verse 50. And who is better than Allah in judgment for the people who have firm faith? وَمَنْ أَحْسَنُ مِنَ اللَّهِ حُكْمًا. Look at that word, حُكْمًا. لِقَوْمٍ يُوقِنُونَ. Who is better than Allah? Can Allah have an equal in His hukum? Think about that. Look at this verse. Chapter 6, 114. I love this. Is it other than Allah I should seek as a judge, hakaman, the same hukum word, while it is He who has sent down to you the book, explained in detail. Look at that. Shall I seek a judge other than Allah? Look at that. And who is better than Allah? Think, brothers and sisters. Here's another verse. Chapter 12, verse 40. Legislation is not but or except for Allah. Look, there's a negation here. Inil hukmu. There's no hukum illa lillah except for Allah. The hukum, say hakaman, hukum is for none but Allah. Think about that, brothers and sisters. Have a look at this verse. Chapter 13, verse 41. And just before this it reads, Wallahu yahkumu, and Allah judges. And then it concludes by saying, La mu'aqiba li hukmihi, the hukum word again. There is no adjuster or changes into his hukum. Now this shuts down the argument of intercession, doesn't it, brothers and sisters? Because on the day of judgment, Allah is going to pass down judgment, is He not? He's going to say guilty or not guilty. He's going to throw people into hell or into paradise. But according to the Ahl Sunnah, the Sunnis, Allah is going to pass judgment. He's going to throw people into hell. And the Prophet Muhammad, through his intercession, is going to bring them out. But here, look what it says. There's no changing his hukum. There's no adjusting, brothers and sisters. And finally, really this verse here, brothers and sisters, I could end the presentation right now with this verse. Chapter 18, verse 26, look what it reads. And hey, Allah shares not in his hukum, legislation, with anyone. Wala yushrik. Remember that yushrik word? Allah says, don't make a partner, don't make anyone equal, even like him. Don't make a partner with him with anything, Shaytaan, or anyone, ahada. He does not share or have a partner or a companion in his hukum with anyone. This anyone, what is Prophet Muhammad, is he exempted from this? Does this not include him? So then how do you understand this verse here when he says Allah and his messenger, brothers and sisters? There are actually more verses. Please go to my other video. Who is the judge and the lawmaker according to the Quran? And I'll go through these, brothers and sisters. These are just snippets of that. Think about it. How do we understand this verse? Obviously, if you put two and two together, this verse, Allah and his messenger, is simply a Hendiadys. The messenger doesn't bring something new to the table. He just conveys whatever Allah sent down of his hukum, he just conveys it. Doesn't the Quran say, Anzalnahu, it singular pronoun, and we have sent it down, hukman Arabiyan, a hukum in Arabic. This Quran is a hukum. And the messenger only judged by this Quran, did he not? Subhanallah. Let's continue. The other verse they love to abuse. When Allah and his messenger have made haram. See, they actually use this verse. They say, you see, the messenger also equally makes halal and haram. I'm going to prove them very, very wrong, brothers and sisters. Is this really talking about two sources? Subhanallah. Look at this verse, chapter 5, verse 87. Do not, Allah's warning, Allah says this throughout the Quran, prohibit, make haram, the good things which Allah has made lawful. Ma ahallallahu. Here it doesn't say Allah and his prophet, Allah and his messenger, does it? It doesn't. Here's another verse. I love this. Chapter 6, verse 145. The messenger is told to say, Qul, I do not find, la ajidu, within that which is inspired to me, uhiya ilayya muharramam, that haram word, to the one who will eat it, unless it will be, and there are four things mentioned here. I don't want to go into all of it here, and please refer to my other video, brothers and sisters. Four things are mentioned, and you see this mentioned in other verses as well. These four exact things that are made haram. Well, if the messenger can also equally make things haram alongside with Allah, then why would the messenger say this? He's told us, I don't find anything haram which is inspired to me except these four things. Well, if he was a lawmaker or a legislator, couldn't he just say, well, this and this is haram as well? As a matter of fact, that's what you find in the hadith literature, brothers and sisters. It's shocking. This is what you find. The Prophet in the hadith, he legislates. This is halal, this is haram. It's subhanallah, it's unbelievable. But here, look what the Quran makes him say. Have a look at this verse, chapter 6, verse 151. The messenger is told to say, Qul, say to them, come, I will recite what your Lord has made haram. Ta'ala, come. Atlu ma harrama rabbukum. I will recite what your Lord has made haram. It doesn't say what I've made haram, does it? Subhanallah, look at that. Look at this verse. This will seal the deal, brothers and sisters. Chapter 66, verse 1. O Prophet, Ya ayyuhan nabi, lima tuharrimuna ma ahallallahu lak. Why do you prohibit for yourself what Allah had made lawful for you? Think about that, brothers and sisters. Now, notice here it says prophet. Doesn't say messenger. You won't see the Quran say, oh messenger, and tell him off for something. Never. Because the messenger, remember the microphone example? He just conveys what he heard from Allah, nothing else. He wouldn't dare add or even subtract anything from this tenzilun. Otherwise, Allah would have severely punished them, brothers and sisters. Have a think about that. So then how do we understand this verse? Allah and his messenger. How do we understand the brothers and sisters? This is, of course, a Hendiadys, with so many other verses are presented. Or are we going to stubbornly still say, no, they're two separate sources? Let's go to the next verse, which they love to abuse. You know the verse? What Allah and His Messenger have decreed? Think about this. And the words here are qada, the word qada. Qada Allahu wa rasulahu amran. The word qada and the word amran. But what you find in the Quran, if you look at some other verses, look what it reads, chapter 2, verse 117. Originator of the heavens and the earth. When, hey, Allah decrees a matter. Doesn't say Allah and His Messenger here, does it? Allah decrees a matter. Qada amran. He says to it, kun fayakun. Who's this talking about? Allah decrees a marriage, brothers and sisters. The fact that it says Allah and His Messenger does not mean there are two sources. There are two entities decreeing matters. That's impossible, brothers and sisters. In fact, to believe that, to think that is shirk. Here's another verse. Chapter 3, verse 47. She said, Maryam alayhi salam, my Lord, how will I have a child when no man has touched me? The angel responded, such is Allah. He creates what He wills. And when He decrees a matter, qada amran, the same word. Qada amran, the same words are used. He says, kun fayakun. Brothers and sisters, do you find a verse somewhere where it says the Prophet or the Messenger decrees a matter, qada amran, and he says, kun fayakun? Do you find this? Astaghfirullah, of course you don't. So then how do we understand these verses, these types of verses, brothers and sisters? Are we still, brothers and sisters, are we still going to stubbornly separate the two? Insist that these are two separate sources? Again, chapter 19, verse 35, finally, it is not befitting for Allah to take a son. Exalted is He, subhanaka. When He decrees a matter, qada amran, He only says, kun fayakun. Brothers and sisters, all those obey Allah and His Messenger verses. When Allah and His Messenger have judged, when Allah and His Messenger have made haram, when Allah and His Messenger have decreed a matter, how do we understand this? Are we still stubbornly, subhanallah, arrogantly, insist that these are two separate sources? Now, let's just quickly talk about the obey Allah and His Messenger verses. I made a video on that as well. Okay, chapter 5, verse 92. Now, notice here it's got two obeys. Look at this. Obey Allah wa atiya rasula and wa atiya Allah wa atiya rasula. Obey Allah and obey the Messenger. See, they stress these verses as well. So, brother, there's two atiyah, there's two obeys here. Obey Allah through the Quran and obey the Messenger through the Hadith and the Sunnah. But what they do is they pluck this part out of the verse. They never quote you the full verse, brothers and sisters. They ignore the rest of the verse. Look what the rest of the verse reads. And if you turn away, then know that upon our Messenger is only the responsibility for clear notification. فَأْلَمُوا أَنَّمَا عَلَى رَسُولِنَا الْبَلَاغُ الْمُبِينَ. Why is this part here, which are highlighted in pink? Why are these ignored, brothers and sisters? Look at this verse here, the next verse. Again, it's got the two obeys. Chapter 24, verse 59. Say, the messengers told us, say, obey Allah, ati Allah, and obey the messenger, wa ati Rasulah. But if you turn away, then upon him is that due to which he has been charged, and upon you is that which you've been charged. Look at this. And if you obey him, tuti'uhu, singular pronoun. Why didn't it say here if you obey Allah and His Messenger? Because obeying the Messenger is equivalent to obeying Allah. This is not two separate obeys, brothers and sisters. You will be rightly guided. And look at this. And there is not upon the Messenger except to deliver a message clearly. وَمَا عَلَى الرَّسُولِ إِلَّا الْبَلَاغُ الْمُبِينَ. Just like here, Allah stresses the importance of the Messenger strictly delivering the message. There's another verse here, chapter 6 verse 12, 64 verse 12. And obey Allah, ati Allah, and obey the Messenger, wa ati Rasulah. But if you turn away, then upon our Messenger is the duty of clear notification. فَإِنَّمَا only عَلَى رَسُولِنَا الْبَلَاغُ الْمُبِينَ. See these verses where I've highlighted in pink? These are completely ignored by the Ahl Sunnah. Think about it. Imagine you and I were at the time of the Messenger, alayhi salam. He came and he started reciting verses to us. If we believed and said, Samitna wa ata'na. Think, brothers, we hear and we obey. Have we obeyed Allah? The answer is yes. Have we obeyed the messenger? The answer is yes. Have we obeyed Allah and the messenger? The answer is yes. Are these two separate obeys? No. That's absurd. But see how Shaytaan and his minions, they've diverted, they've taken the messenger out from the equation. So following and obeying the messenger is something else. Do you see this diversion? Do you see how Shaytaan's tricked us, brothers and sisters? Look at that diversion. Look at this deception, subhanAllah. But this is what the Ahl Sunnah want you to think. Conclusion, brothers and sisters. According to the Quran, I urge you, this is my 2 cents worth, brothers and sisters. Do your own homework. Think about it. According to the Quran, there is only and can only ever be one authority, brothers and sisters. Only one hukum. One. Not 2 sources. In fact, this is kufr. This is shirk to say this. And yet they have a nerve to use Quranic verses to try to prove this kufr, when they don't understand what the Quran is saying. I myself, may Allah forgive me and everybody else, brothers and sisters, I myself used to think this because I had a curtain over my eyes. I just couldn't see this. Wallahi, I just couldn't see this, subhanAllah, until Allah made me see this. Brothers and sisters, this is my 2 cents worth. There is only one authority, brothers and sisters, not 2, not 3, not 4. That's Allah alone. There is only one obedience, brothers and sisters, not 2 sources of obedience. That's Allah alone. And Allah expresses all this through a Hendiadys. There is only one judgment. And remember Allah, وَلَا يُشْرِكُ فِي حُكْمِهِ أَحَدًا. He does not share his hukum with anyone. How do we understand these verses, brothers and sisters? How dare do we say that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is equally or even a likeness to Allah in his hukum? How can we say that? Allah alone in judgment. There is only one lawmaker, one lawgiver, brothers and sisters. Allah alone. Finally, there is only one decision maker, brothers and sisters. Allah alone. It's Allah alone. Make no mistake about it, brothers and sisters. When it says Allah and His Messenger, this is a Hendiadys, the expression of a single idea which are connected by two words. And you find this throughout the Quran, subhanAllah. But they have separated the messenger. Do you see that? Do you see this diversion? They've taken the messenger out from the equation and they've attributed all this hadith and sunnah to him. I'm not saying, brothers and sisters, reject everything outside the Quran. I'm not saying that. You make up your own mind, brothers and sisters. This is pretty much what 2 cents worth. They even go so further to say that the Messenger Muhammad, he's like an independent source of guidance. I made a video on that called Al-Huda, the guidance. They also say there's the guidance of Allah, which is in the Quran, and there's also the guidance of the Messenger in the Hadith literature. They actually say this. And when you go to this Hadith literature, subhanAllah, it's filled with hukums, rulings and legislations and harams and decisions which the Prophet allegedly made that is outside of the Quran. But the Quran tells you Allah does not have a partner. It says do not ascribe anyone or anything to Him, brothers and sisters. Think about that, brothers. What does shirk actually mean? In a nutshell, shirk is to take an entity and make it equal or like Allah in His hukum. This is shirk. And what are the Ahl Sunnah preaching to us, brothers and sisters? Subhanallah. Brothers and sisters, I hope you enjoyed the presentation today. Until next time, stay safe and Assalamu alaikum.